Raise your hand if you've ever had a really great plan that you were genuinely excited about, and then 2 weeks into it, you ditched the whole plan and you ended up starting at ground zero, and you were thinking to yourself, what is wrong with me? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. And if you watched this video, then you already named your season and set up your one aligned action step. But let's get into why we self sabotage. I have asked myself the what is wrong with me question so many times after I've come up with plans and then failed to follow through. Most of us who consider ourselves ambitious, we've always been driven, we've always had goals, we always get the thing done. We have built a sense of self around that identity from a really young age. We were the ones who got good grades, who took on extra responsibilities, the one people called because they could rely on. And every time we achieved something, we would get some kind of reward, some kind of validation or sense that we were enough. And so over time, subconsciously, we've absorbed this belief that my value is somehow tied to my output, my worth being tied to what I produce. And I want you to hear how sneaky this belief is, because it doesn't feel like a problem when everything is going well. When you're achieving things, when the momentum is there, this belief actually feels like fuel and keeps propelling you forward. But the moment that life gets full, and it always gets full, that belief can feel like a trap. Now you're depleted and you're in a busy season. And every day that you don't make progress on your goals, that belief is quietly in the background telling you that you're falling behind, that you're not measuring up, you're falling short of your own expectation of yourself, that somehow you are less than because you're not producing in the way you were once able to produce. And here's the part that really gets me. That belief that once propelled you forward and was your drive is now the thing that is keeping you stuck. Because when shame enters the picture, action becomes basically impossible. And you don't procrastinate because you're lazy. You procrastinate because trying and failing feels more like a verdict on who you are. And so you wait. You wait till you're not so busy. You wait till things calm down. You wait for a season when you have more time, more clarity, more bandwidth. That waiting becomes its own kind of stuckness. And this is a huge reason why I created my season clarity guide. So the link is below in this video. There's a whole section in there about aligning your expectations, and it's designed about releasing the comparison of your past self with who you are now, with getting honest about what your capacity is right now and creating aligned actions to move forward. It's a great first step to help you get out of that stuck space that you're feeling. What this subconscious belief produces in us is a pattern that I call oscillation. And maybe you can see this pattern in your own life as well. So the pattern looks like this. You can go weeks or maybe months and not make any progress on something that you actually care about, and the guilt accumulates. Your inner critic gets louder, and then finally, bang, something shifts. You hit a moment of frustration and you finally decide, that's it. I'm turning this truck around. We're getting back on track. So you make a plan, and it's often not a small plan, and you get yourself back on track because you have to make up for the lost time of being stuck and not moving forward. This is a complete life overhaul. It's new routine, new goals, all the things, new system, and you're committed. And for a while, it's working and you're making progress. You feel good and you feel like yourself again. And then life happens. You have a hard week at work. You have a kid who refuses to sleep. A situation you didn't plan comes up, and because you were doing it all or nothing, that one disruption throws your whole plan out of whack and you stop altogether. You land back at zero, except for this time, there's more shame than there was before. I've been there. Because I tried, and for some reason, I couldn't make this new system, this new plan, stick. Let me make this clear. This is not a character flaw, and this isn't evidence that you're not cut out to achieve this goal. This is what happens when someone deeply wants to grow, but is using a system that is not designed for their current season of life. So, what's the alternative here? If doing a whole life overhaul doesn't work, or waiting for the perfect season doesn't work, what actually is going to help you achieve that goal? This is the only thing that's ever actually worked for me. It's all about building a plan around who you actually are right now and what your life actually looks like today, and not who you were 2 years ago and what you were able to accomplish then. So, this works in three parts. The first part is finding your true north. So, this is your big overall goal for your life. What is that vision that you really want your life to look like? So, find your true north star that you want everything pointed towards. This isn't some vague idea about what you want in life. Get really specific. Most people don't give themselves permission to dream in specifics. And so they work really hard, but they don't exactly know what they're working towards. Finding your true north gives you direction. You don't think about this necessarily every day, but it does point your actions and goals, smaller goals, in the direction that they need to go. So, the second part of this is season intentionality. So, when you have little kids or a really demanding job, your life is full and you need to have goals that fit into your current season. So, these are going to change over time, but you have to get really honest with where you are right now. So even if your goals feel smaller than you want them to be, it's not failure. That's a good thing. That means they're more likely to get accomplished. And it's all about having wisdom in choosing the right size goal that can help you build that momentum over time. When this leads into the third part, it's picking one honest, tiny step that is aligned with that true north goal, but it's an action that you can take this week. So if it feels too small, it's probably the right size. So here's what actually changes when we work this way. We stop that identity threat of feeling like we're not enough because we're constantly moving. They are tiny steps, but we're constantly moving forward. Even if you're having a hard week, taking 10 minutes towards that goal and taking a little step forward is concrete proof that you are moving forward. This is you teaching yourself to trust yourself that you will show up no matter what your week looks like. So over time, that evidence becomes that belief. It's not my worth is what I produce. It's I am somebody who keeps the promises to myself. That shift can change everything. It's less about reaching the goal and becoming somebody who truly trusts themselves. And that person, she's unstoppable. Let me show you how this looks in my life. So, about a year and a half ago, I read a book about longevity, health, longevity, and being healthy as you age. And the biggest piece to that was consistently exercising throughout the week. And so I made a goal that I would start exercising. And this was going to classes, just working on the treadmill, could be anything, just intentional movement multiple times a week. And I historically have not identified as somebody who exercises or enjoys going to the gym. And I made a goal. I had a checklist in my phone of what I was going to do. And it was like, even on a hard week, I can accomplish this. And week after week, I kept doing it. Even on the hard weeks, I kept showing up and getting that intentional movement in. Even if it was just walking slowly on the treadmill, I still showed up. I wasn't going super hard at the gym, but now a year and a half later, I can't stop going to the gym. It's now autopilot and I don't have to think about it that much anymore. Or I go for a walk outside, but it's a goal that I have put into place that is doable each and every week, unless I'm like deathly sick. But mostly I can still do it. And overall, like I feel better about my health and I look better and I'm just a happier person. And I trust myself so much more by doing something that I historically have not enjoyed or identified myself as someone who exercises. And now I am that person by just doing the thing again and again and again. And it's entirely another thing to see how it works in somebody's real life, especially your life. So, in my next video, I'm sharing a real story about my system in real life. This is about a woman who felt really stuck and put off her dreams for years and years. And then she plugged in this framework and has made great progress over time. If you are interested in going through this framework for yourself, I'm hosting a 60-minute working session on April 12th. The link is below, and we'll go through all of this. And by the end of it, you will have an actionable step that fits into your season. So it's called Growth in a Full Season, and I hope to see you there.